Okay. So last week's parasha, we read about the korbanot of the Nesiim, the heads of the tribes. They came in the inauguration of the Mishkan. And our parasha starts with a commandment to Aaron to light the candles of the menorah in the Mishkan. So the Mefarshim ask a question: why is the Torah place those psukim or those events one so close to another? And Rashi says, "Lama nismecha parashat menorah leparashat hanesiim, lefi shekshera'a Aharon chanukat hanesiim chalsha da'ato." When Aaron saw that all the heads of the tribes bring the korban and he didn't, he became upset. He was very upset. Why? Shelo haya imayim b'chanukah. He didn't take part in the inauguration of the Mishkan. Lo hu velo shifto. Not him and not his tribe. So Amar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu, chayecha, relax. Shelcha gedolim mishelahem. Your part is greater than theirs. She'ata madlik u'meitiv et hanerot. That you light the candles and you prepare the oil for the candles. I don't know about you, but for me it's very difficult. Here comes the Nesiim, everybody says, Nasi l'shevet zeh, korbano karat kesef achad, and so on and so forth. They say how much he brings, and so, right? And here Aharon takes the candles and he lights it, and this is greater than that. How it doesn't make sense. Or maybe it does make sense and we just don't understand that. So let's look at the words of Rashi. So the pasuk in Kohelet, in Perek Aleph, pasuk Tedvav says, Me'uvat lo yachol litaken, v'chisaron lo yachol limanot. Something that it's bent, you can't fix it again. I mean, I don't care what you say about, body shops and so on and so forth. If you have a dent in a car, as good as you are, you can't fix it. It's always going to be there. And something that is missing cannot be counted. And the Braita in Masechet Chagiga in Daf Tet Amud Bet says, "Me'uvat lo yachol litaken, ze shebitel kriyat shema shel shacharit or kriyat shema shel arvit." A person, what is something that became crooked or it became unfixable? What is this thing? A person who did not daven or didn't say Kriyat Shema on time, and so on and so forth. V'chisaron lo yachol limanot, and something that is missing that cannot be counted for. What does it mean? Ze sheninu chaverav ledavar mitzvah vehu lo nimna ilahem. When your friends got together to do a mitzvah, and you didn't take a part with them, like for example, your friends decided to come to Yeshiva to learn, and you did not come together with them, you have a problem. These are things that cannot be fixed. So, in other words, you see from here that there are certain mitzvot, like regular mitzvot, that when the time had passed, you cannot have tashlumim. You can pay up for that, or you can make it up again. The time of Kriyat Shema is in the morning between this time to this time. If you didn't do it on time, that's it. It's gone. And I'm going to tell you something. For me, I had years ago, I'm talking about, I don't know, maybe 30 years ago. All of a sudden, realization, I still remember this. It was, we were davening, Mincha right before Rosh Hashanah, the last Mincha before Rosh Hashanah. We did it together, so we can come to shul. It will be. And I said to myself, "Oh my goodness, that's the last time I'm going to daven Mincha this year." And all of a sudden, I felt like somebody just went like this and smacked me in the back of the head. And I said, this is how we have to regard any mitzvah. Every time we daven, that's the last time it's going to happen. We don't think about it this way. You get one chance to do the mitzvah, and it's a very simple mitzvah, davening. I remember, it was exactly a year ago that my father-in-law passed away. So he was in a hospital, he was in and out, and then he decided he wants to come back home. I brought him home. And I remember my wife just came back from Florida. She came back Friday, and we spoke to him Sunday through WhatsApp, whatever it is, Skype, whatever it was. One of those things. We spoke to him, I think it was WhatsApp. We spoke to him on the phone. And I said, wow, Baruch Hashem, it looks good. He was responsive, he was out of bed, he was at the table in the kitchen eating. I said to my wife, no, okay, we knew it's not going to be, a long time, but next day he was gone. In his sleep. It was like, I don't know, 11 o'clock in the morning. He didn't feel good, he wanted to go to bed, didn't wake up. And I said, what will happen? How would we do mitzvot? How would we daven? Shmona Esrei. If chas v'shalom somebody tells you, that's the last time you're going to be daven. After that, you're going to join the angels. How long would we daven? How much kavanah would we have? Every mitzvah that you do, it's gone. There's no, okay, and that's why I don't like the attitude of people, oh, Rabbi, I'll daven, can I daven twice? No, man, you can't. So they say, oh, do tashlumim, do like this, make a condition. And I'm saying, no, I want you to realize that you didn't daven, and this is gone forever, and you can never repay for it, and make sure that from this point on it never happens again. So you see that there are certain mitzvot that cannot be. Chisaron is a person who was mevatel kriyat shema or tefillah or something like this, and there are situations that when people decide to do the mitzvah, certain particular mitzvah, and if you're not being with them, you can make it up. This is not golf that we get a mulligan. You know what a mulligan is? In golf, mulligan is like, okay, I missed the thing. Okay, let me try another guy. That's your mulligan. You can get it one time. That was my father-in-law's nickname, mulligan. So, in other words, when you don't do this, you're going to be eternally in a deficit of this mitzvah. You can't make it up. Let's say a person didn't say Kriyat Shema, forgot, or was not, didn't feel like it, was angry at God. I don't know any other excuse. He didn't say it. So you can never make, what are you going to do? You're going to say today 50 Kriyat Shema to make it up? No, it's gone. It's finished. That's, of course, the responsibility that we have to do, that we have to have. So, and Rashi says, over there in the Gemara, something similar to this sugya. It says, come with us, and he didn't go. People say, come with us to do this mitzvah. He said, nah, I don't want to go. Shechasar atzmo me'oto minyan, since he removed himself from this group of people, lo yachol limanot od be'oto minyan shekvar asu et mitzvah. You cannot be a part of this group anymore because they already did the mitzvah. Listen, we're going to daven Arvit. Can you please come and join us? No, I'm going to go somewhere else. Went somewhere else. They finished over there. Come back. Guys, I said Baruch Hu. Technically, no. You didn't want to be a part of it. You missed this. We got it. We finished. I'm sorry. This is a different understanding, and we need to understand. That's what Chazal tells us. If a mitzvah come leyadcha, al tachmitzena, don't miss it. There's another way to lachmitz is to miss. But lachmitz also, don't make your mitzvot sour. A mitzvah came to your hand. You're about to do mitzvah. Don't say, tefillin ha'ele, oof. Huh?
Full koach.
Yes, no, not only full koach, no, full attitude. Attitude. The way we approach it. So the Nisiim, of course, had a tremendous mitzvah, which is the inauguration of the Mishkan. And the Nasi, the head of every Shevet, brought the korbanot. And more than that, every Shevet, it was miraculous, and each one brought the same exact amount, and so on and so forth. So it was not only it was a beautiful thing, it was a tremendous miracle. Everybody brought the same identical. And now, only one Shevet didn't bring it, and the head of the one Shevet, Aharon, did not do it, right? So he was in great tzar, because, in a way he felt that his Shevet is going to be forever lacking in something that, you can never do it again. How many times are you going to inaugurate the Mishkan? You can only do it once. And this is forever. He was very upset. So, at this point, the Kadosh Baruch Hu comes and he says, Aaron, Motek, John, don't worry about it. Even though you're going to miss on this mitzvah, and there was never going to be, again in history, any way that they could make it up on that mitzvah, but they have a giving an opportunity to do something, another mitzvah, and maybe even greater than that. And what is this mitzvah that we are talking about, right? And is lighting the candles, fixing the candles and lighting the candles. Of course, the question will ask, wait a minute. The Nesiim of the Shevet, every Shevet, brought a lot of money. Shte ke'arot kesef, 2 things full of silver, and parim, kevasim, and so on and so forth. What is Aaron doing? What is Aaron exactly bringing, right? What is he bringing? He doesn't even buy the oil. He doesn't even buy the oil to fix the candles. So what's going on here? How is this any greater than that? And not only that he doesn't even buy the oil to light the menorah, he even doing that, not for himself, he does it as a shaliach for Klal Yisrael to light the candles for the Jews. So I don't know, how does this is so great? So before we continue with this, I'm going to tell you something, and this is something that we really need to internalize and maybe to change our ways. Sometimes it's cultural issues, sometimes it's not, but we need to change our ways. So what do I mean? The halakha recognize human nature to get excited, more so, for example, when you have a unique mitzvah. Or mitzvah that doesn't come all the time, right? A person, so while for example, we make a mitzvah like Shechianu, right? We do a mitzvah like Tkiyat Shofar or Brit Milah. So we make a special bracha, Shechiyayin v'kei, right? And so on and so forth. Whether it's Sukkah or Lulav or Chanukah, whatever mitzvot that we do like this. However, mitzvot, tzitzit, or tefillin, by all means are no less than those mitzvot. Some of the mitzvot, b'chal midirabanan, right, rabbinical, right? A person doesn't make shechianu. For example, when was the last time you make shechianu on tefillin? You don't even you don't make shechianu on tefillin when you bought it the first time. You make another talit. You don't make another tefillin. You get up in the morning. You say shechianu to put your talit on you. No. So why is it? So Birkat Shechianu is basically saying thanks or praising Hashem for a very unique joy that we have in the joy of the mitzvah. And tefillin we put every single day. So a person ultimately, guess what? Is not that excited to put in tefillin. You see people putting tefillin like this in the morning. I understand people are there. It's like, it's like, my goodness, you took the cheshek for me to put tefillin on. Somebody once told me, there's the difference between Sfaradim and Ashkenazim, the way we put tefillin is like this. Ashkenazim put it this way, right? Sfaradim put it this way. Which one is better? They're all the same. Wow, what does it mean? So, he says, my kavanah, he says like this, he says, from Hashem to me, and from me to Hashem. Every time he raps it, he has From Hashem to me, from me to Hashem. From Hashem to me, and me to Hashem. And I said to him, well, that's the same thing for us. But for us, it's a little better, I said, because we're Sephardi. I said, we first give to Hashem. Hashem, this is from me to you, and then you give it to me, and I'll give it to you. So imagine everything, even just tying your feeling, all of a sudden takes a different meaning. But most people, it's just like kind of like this, and they put that feeling and it looks like that, you know what I'm saying. So it's because we do it every single day. We do this every single day, right? Chanukah, how many times we light? 8 times a year. Wow, we are. So of course, so the person is very, very excited. So that's why on Ner Chanukah we make the bracha Shechianu on the first one, because you see it after you don't make Shechianu every single night. So the halakha recognize that. Halakha recognize the nature of a person, and and it adjusted itself. So, for example, in mitzvot that we usually do, there is also a rule, and the rule is en shne kolot nishmaim. What does it mean? It means that if I don't read it myself, right? But I want to hear what somebody else is saying, and to be yotzech yedei chova, to exempt by him, right? Of course, it has to be mutual, shomea, motzi, mechaven, and so on and so forth. So it is like I read it myself, right? If I have a kavanah to be yotze by Ari, and Ari has a kavanah to exempt me, it is considered like I did it. Like I did it. But I have to hear, in a case like this, I have to hear only one person reading, not 2 people reading. What does it mean? If I, for example, let's say, if I want to make chovat kiddush, right? So without holding the cup of kiddush myself, right? And to read the nosach of kiddush so that and then to drink it, but I want somebody else to do so, right? Which many people do. This is, of course, in a condition, as we said before, that I have in mind to be exempt by him, and he has in mind to be motzi me. However, but I can only hear it from one person. So, for example, if Ari and Eitan are making kiddush, I need to decide which one. I cannot be yotze both of them. Has to be only one person. Cannot be 2 people. That's why, for example, it can, and why is that? Because it's near impossible that 2 people would read exactly at the same pronunciation, instead of the letters, and the same timing, like one person. It's impossible. Just impossible. In the shul that I daven, there are 2 gabbaim, so they have a lot of people for sick people. So they says, Mishe Berach Avotenu, so they both say it together. And they've been doing so for years. And there's always a certain overlap. It's impossible. Because the way I say my ayin is not like he says the ayin. And I say the het, and he says the het different, or the het different. So it sounds like 2 kolot, like 2 different voices. So in a case like this, what will happen? I will get confused. And at the end, because I got confused, I did not pay attention from beginning to an end. Since I did not pay attention from beginning to an end, therefore I cannot exempt. So that's why you're not allowed to do so. The same thing is when you go into the Torah, the Shulchan Aruch writes, the Shulchan Aruch in Orach Chayim, Siman Kuf Mem Aleph, Seif. Ari. Oh man, Ari, you're almost a rabbi. It says, right? It says, Asur sheshnayim יקראו ביחד, 2 people cannot read together. אלא או שהעולה קורא לבד ושליח ציבור שותק, or if for example there is the Baal Koreh, right? And let's say the guy knows how to read, so therefore he's going to be quiet and one person is reading, or the other way around. The only difference is that if I have, for example, Ari is the Baal Koreh reading for me, since I'm obligated to read it, I need to say it, but I need to say it quietly, not to confuse everybody else. There are some people who want to be super machmir, and then זה נקרא, אל תקרא שמו מחמיר, אלא חמור. למה? Because you hear 2 people reading. He wants to read also. When you hear him, you hear 2 people. And that's a problem. Hello, it's a problem for me also. Please, Lord. So, but you have to do it like this. So now, for example, mitzvot that are unique, like, for example, Kriyat Megillah, right? I'm allowed to be, to hear and to do Yotzei Yedei Chova, even from 2 people, right? When they both have in mind to read it for me, right? And why is that? Because it is a unique mitzvah, and people get excited over this mitzvah. That's why they're going to pay more attention. They're going to pay more attention and hearing that, and they're not going to get confused by the other person reading. Okay, so therefore we see that it's a natural human. It's a human nature, right? The people get excited over unique mitzvot, and it has of course influence over halacha. And in any case, it's much easier for a person to get excited and then actually to do the mitzvah gedolah, right? But than regular mitzvah. But only once in a while, mitzvah gedolah, it doesn't, it has to come like very far apart. The same thing as we eat a fruit. Let's say, for example, I was about to eat an apple, and let's say I didn't eat an apple for the whole entire season, the whole entire year. So the first time I eat it, I say Shechianu. It's lahavut. It's a new fruit. But now every day I eat an apple, I don't get so excited. Just he said bracha, right? It's the same thing. The same thing here. So what we call the small mitzvot is the mitzvot that we do every single day, but they're not small at all. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Aaron, yes, you might have lost this big, unique mitzvah. Yes, I agree. Forever. But there is a way to do or fulfill the small mundane mitzvot every single day. And if you're going to be successful with your routine to do this mitzvah, even though the first excitement of doing this mitzvah for the first time is going to go down, however, you should know that your level is higher than the level of the Nevi'im, of the Nesi'im, who made a great mitzvah one time. You make the same mitzvah all the time. If you're able to maintain this, you're able to bring yourself to a higher level. And that is something what I refer to us changing our ways. People plan all the time, every year, a whole year for vacation. They get excited over the vacation. They're going to go here. They don't excited over their lives. Aren't you supposed to be grateful that you're alive today? Did you pay attention to the details of your life today? You think you're going to go to a great vacation and that's going to make your life. What will make your life is the excitement of the little things that you're going to do every single day. That's why it is important to have a daily routine in which every single day you wake up at the same time. Every single day, and as you go to a minyan on the same time. Every single day you daven mincha at the same time. The strength and the holiness of a person comes from that routine. Not from making a mitzvah one time. Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, he's screaming on top of you. Everybody says, wow. And then never to be seen again in shul. Not from coming to Yom Kippur and crying to Hashem like a crocodile. And then never to be seen again in shul. It's for coming every day to a minyan, understanding the importance that the holiness, greatness comes from the small details. If you want to be successful in life, get yourself a routine in which you don't move. You will be more focused because you don't say, okay, what should I be doing now? Well, it's 6:30 in the morning, I got to go to minyan. Let's have 6:30 minyan, I got to go to minyan. What do you mean what I'm doing now? Well, should I sleep a little bit more? No, I can't sleep more. I got to get up. There's this guy, Jocko Willing. Every single day, he has an Instagram. He puts his watch on Instagram. Every single day, 4:30 he's up. But he's Superman. Don't get up at 4:30. Fine. But please, 6, go sleep. Go sleep at 11. Wake up at 6. Terrific. You have a whole day. All of a sudden, you have all the time in the world. Pay attention to everything you do. Eat like a person. Everything that you do, those little details. And that's where we fail. We want excitement. We want production. We want a guy, a rabbi, to come in and give us this most amazing thing to excite us with this wonderful lecture. Those lectures, in a way, are a waste. Because what would really get you to a next level, what will really get you going in terms of Judaism, is not this flamboyant rabbi that comes in and gives you a lecture, but rather that rabbi who sits down every single day and teaches you Gemara or Halacha every single day. And that's true to everything in the world. That's true to if you want to learn art or martial arts or be a good engineer. Anything you do, you got to put your time in every single day. And when all of a sudden you do that, you realize, hey, I have more than, yes, I know I have 24 hours a day, but I actually have more time to do more things than I did before. And so you realize that when you want those excitement, and you see it on vacation time flies. And then you say, well, what happened here? So don't look for all this. People look, oh, it's going to be a great party, let's go. No, I don't want party. Party is that I have my chavruta coming every day and learning with me. That's what I should. Not one day he goes to a wedding, then he goes to Pidyon Ben, then he goes to some transgender clothing we're wearing. No, leave me alone. It's exciting. There's a parade in the street. Okay, there's a parade. Go ahead and go. I'm sitting here learning every single day. That's what will make you great. Not sleeping in 5 more minutes. This 5 more minutes is the devil. The devil gets you in the 5 more minutes. Look at soccer. You have a team. They're leading. How many times it happens that they kind of fell asleep? Okay, it's like, okay, we have 2 more minutes. They're leading 2-0. All of a sudden, the other team does not give up. You're falling asleep. They keep on pressing. Boom, before you know, they scored 3 goals. You're out. You lost. Or they're leading 1-0, and all of a sudden, you lost. Or anything. That's what we say. Lo yanu velo yishan shomer Israel. Yes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu always guards us, but you also. If you want to be shomer your Israel inside of you, don't fall asleep. I'm not saying stay up at night, all night. Don't fall asleep on the job. I mean, you got to be aware of everything. You got to come in and show presence every single time. Show the Yetzirah, who's the boss. That you're the boss. You're in control of your life. Everybody's a control freak, by the way. Everybody loves control. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. But not in the way we execute it. If, for example, I'm a control freak, right? And so instead of trying to control him, get yourself a mirror. Control the guy in the mirror. Use your desire for control to control yourself. Get discipline. Today, society's goal is the heat on or the AC on?
The AC, my fan.
This is like, I'm not getting. Do you understand? Today's society is all about losing control, not to have discipline. You want to go back to greatness? You want to make America great again? Should I go like this? Should I make America great again? It's very simple. Change the attitude in terms of having discipline, to have the due diligence, to do things the right way for yourself. Don't look for loopholes and so on and so forth. And for us also, listen, we counted every single day now. Recently, we counted the Omer. Yom LaOmer, brachot, Kem Chag Shavuot, Matan Torah, איזה יופי. You know what happens right after that? Right? 17 B'Tammuz. Why? We fell asleep. We fell asleep. We didn't know what to do. The same thing happened to us on Rosh Hashanah, a whole entire month celebration. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Hoshana Rabbah, Shmini Atzeret, woo! Kam Cheshvan, we're done. But this has to change. You have a job. You're very happy in your job, aren't you? No, I'm not happy. Why? All the time, the same job. Okay, but what do you want to do? You want to be busy looking for a job. So take care of a job. Come to the job. Do your best. That's the stability, growth. Growth can only happen when there is stability. If you're going to take a tree, plant it in a pot, 2 weeks later move to another pot, 2 weeks later move to another pot, before you're going to move to the fifth pot, the plant will die. Not only will not grow, it will die. Stability is the growing bed of success, of greatness, of holiness. And that's what we learn from this statement, right? So here comes the Torah. It teaches us that mitzvot, that are usual mitzvot, these are the mitzvot in which we should pay the most attention to be mitchazek in those mitzvot, to do them appropriately, not to fall asleep in shul when you daven, to come every single day. That's why daf yomi is very important. Look, you guys are doing Yevamot. What daf are you holding?
103.
You almost finished. No, they're ahead. Yeah, they're ahead.
Today was 100.
What?
I think today was 100.
They're even more ahead.
Yeah, they're ahead. They yeah. So you understand? So, but when we started, soon you're gonna finish. 20-something pages, 30 pages, you're done.
20, yeah.
So guess what? When you started Yevamot, you say, oh my goodness, Yevamot, that's forever. How? I'm not gonna do it. How are you gonna do it? Very simple. One step at a time. One daf at a time. And when you have some more time, hey, I like it. I'm gonna put some more. So instead of being with page 100, he's on page 103. That's what I'm talking about. Get yourself, put the tefillin, mamash, look at the tefillin. I'm so lucky. Not only that I have arms to have tefillin, I'm alive to put tefillin on. Chaz v'shalom, a person has a stomachache or diarrhea, I cannot put tefillin. Oh Hashem, I'm in a state. That gives you tremendous strength, this realization. So, and we have to do this mitzvot, the way we do the mitzvot is specific, and we should try to pay attention to do them specifically, as the halacha says, without any voices, without kalut rosh, being lightheaded, without looking any kind of rounding corners for the loopholes. Rabbi, is there any loophole that I can, avoid putting tefillin today? What do I need loopholes for? Do things the right way. Whether it's your tefillin, your talit, your davening, whether it's your kashrut. Kashrut always want zigzags. You understand that your kashrut is your spiritual diet. And then you're going to cry to me that you don't feel anything? Why you don't feel anything? Because you're cutting corners, buddy. The problem is not with Judaism. The problem is with your attitude. Whether it's Shabbat, Shabbat, Rav Ovadia said, Shabbat, we can daven after 20 minutes after Shkia. Wait a minute, Habibi, you want to do this, go do it in Israel. You don't live in Israel, you live in America. In America, we do Lord Rav Moshe. When we do it, 50 minutes after Shkia. 50 minutes after Shkia. Where are you rushing? Le'efa ta olech? Le'Gehennam. Where are you going? Sell, don't worry, Amazon is cheaper. By the way, don't forget, when you do Amazon Smile, put the yeshiva, right? Congregation at Etzion for Amazon. So it gives us money for the yeshiva also. By the way, this shiur is Refuah Shlema of?
Etzion ben Iran.
Etzion ben Iran. And Refuah Shlema lo, Machar is a procedure, so it's going to be full refuah. Elna Refanu lo is going to be chazak v'bari be'ezrat Hashem. And also to the hatzlacha and help to our dear friend that helped us for many years, Shlomo, with his job and everything like this. And of course, to George, Mike, and Karen, unbelievable supporters that haven't stopped helping us throughout the years, and it's really unbelievable. It's simply unbelievable. So all these guys, shout out to you, and all the guys over there in what is it? Not YouTube. What is that?
Instagram.
Instagram. Yes, all our supporters on Instagram. They should be a little bit more vocal. You know, we would. We want to get more questions and how do you call it? Likes, right? Likes. We want likes. But these are the things we have to pay attention to. Taharat HaMishpacha, no shortcuts. Shabbat, no shortcuts. Why should I cut corners of Shabbat? You know, I'm going to tell you this. Seudat Shabbat, don't eat in shul. Seudat Shabbat, how lucky you are to sit down, even if you have only you and your wife. Baruch Hashem, or you and your kids, or you and your parents. How long do you think those things last, man? That you've been taking it for granted. How many years? Before you know it's over. Before you know you're married, you can come every Shabbat. Before you know this, before you know that. You should look forward to getting ready for Shabbat. Sitting down at the table. Don't go eat in shul. Eat at home. Around the table with the family. Look at your family and say, oh my goodness, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. Hashem, thank you so much. And all of a sudden, everything changes at the table. Yes, the kids might be throwing stuff at each other. They might argue with one another. But you're going to look. You say, I love this. Baruch Hashem. I have it. But would you rather sit alone without even a wife? You know, you sit at the table. Your wife's sitting in front of you. Let's say, you don't have kids yet, or your kids are old. You look at your wife's eyes and says, Ribono Shel Olam, thank you so much to allow me to be a complete person. That I have somebody that loves me, and there is someone that I could show or share my love with. That's what we are talking about here. So, therefore, how beautiful it is what Rashi writes over there, Vayasken Aaron el pnei Torah, ela nerotea, and so on and so forth. And Rashi wrote, Vayasken Aaron, la'agid shivcho shel Aaron shelo shina. The greatness of Aaron, that he didn't change anything. He did, even to us, it looks like a simple thing. He did exactly what, something, exactly as HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him. What's the great Shevach? Well, we would think that Aaron would change it, but rather Baalei HaMusar praised Aaron that even after years, the Shevach of Aaron, even after years being in the desert, every single day for him was like the first time. There's a song by Foreigner, of course, there's a different meaning to it. It feels like the first time. Every time you put tefillin, you should play this song. It feels like the first time. Like the first time you put tefillin. You know what was the greatest time that I put tefillin on? Not the first time in Bar Mitzvah. I was like, I was like sweating in my under my skin. You know when? The second time. The second time I put tefillin, I was already by myself. There was no big celebration. Everybody's looking at me. I didn't have to worry about my hair. Didn't have to worry about my pants that were like too tight for me. I was by myself. I felt like a big guy. I put the tefillin on. Sometimes I wish I could get this again, this feeling. So I'll look for it. Hopefully HaKadosh Baruch Hu will grant it for me, will give it to me. However, so that's what Aaron did. The same excitement was for him, without rounding corners. And he didn't do so only in the beginning. Every single time he lit the candles, he looked to do it the best possible way. And then the pasuk says, "V'acharei ken yavohu haleviim la'avod et ha'al moed v'tiarta otam ve'inafta otam tnufa." Right? So of course, the question is, why the Leviim needs to be purified after that? The answer is to also hold them down. Doing something so special and so unique can bring your Yetzer Hara up. So they need tahara even after that. So don't hold it for yourself that you are such a big tzaddik, that every day I am one of the first 10 who come to the minyan. Don't hold it for yourself. Instead of say, Ribono Shel Olam, thank you very much. And we have the halacha, right? What do we say? Baruch shesamani mi yoshvei bet hamidrash. You have to say to Hashem, thank you so much for making a shul that I can actually go and daven. That natata samta chelki mi yoshvei bet hamidrash. ולא מיושבי קרנות. You know what it is? You know, we're so lucky. We live in New York. We're so lucky. We have shul. How many shuls do you have in the neighborhood? Like, I don't know, 1 million. 5, 6, I mean, what? 2.25 blocks. We always complain about this. I want to see you. Go over there. You know, like, you know what? What's the temperature now in Arizona? In places like that, I don't know, like 120 degrees. Go ahead. I want to see you walk into shul. He said, thank you, Baruch Hashem. How about Shabbat? He said, thank you, Baruch Hashem. So that's something we need to understand, that when you thank Hashem and you have your attitude, stop and think 1 second on how lucky you are. All of a sudden, the way you look at the mitzvot are really, really different. And so therefore, bringing those challenges to the Leviim, that brings them up and up. Of course, there is the danger of them becoming arrogant. That's why we need to hold ourselves down. But after the tahara comes the tenufa. Tenufa is v'tiata otam ve'inafta otam tenufa, and you would lift them up, and that shows us a spiritual elevation. And after this, right, when they continue and so on, yosifu la'alot la'anif da'atam le'idat Hashem, le'yediat Hashem va'avato. After you have your attitude, the reason why people don't keep Torah mitzvot is because their attitude stinks. Because they don't get excited over mitzvot. And even if they do mitzvot and they do and so, they become arrogant, they cut corners, and therefore they cannot, yirat Hashem, yirat Hashem only comes when those things are in place. When your attitude is right, when you're thankful, when you don't hold it for yourself, you're not arrogant, then yirat Hashem, ahavat Hashem, which is greater than yirah, because we sing, le'ahava, ulira et shemechasa, ahava is preferred on yirah. Only this can come, right? And these are the things that we have to take into account. So Rabotai, now you know we hopefully be able to daven Arvit. So it's a mitzvah right away. אתה רואה, ועל זה נאמר, הולכים מחיל אל חיל. Right? We're going from learning Torah to another mitzvah, or daven Arvit. In Arvit, you have Kabbalat Ol Malchut Shamayim. You speak to Hashem. Make this tefillah different. Just pause for 5 minutes. And just says, you know, Hashem, thank you so much for allowing me to make it into another day. You know, look at what we have. Look at the bracha that we have in our lives. And thank Hashem. Don't take it for granted. And thank Hashem. And all of a sudden, you know what? If things don't go your way, you still say, Baruch Hashem, I have it. At least I have it. It doesn't go away. You know, and so on and so on. Your kid gives you a hard time. Say, Baruch Hashem, I have a kid. Your wife gives you a hard time. Say, Baruch Hashem, I have a wife. Your mother-in-law, oh, never mind. But you know, you get the drift. Don't look for cutting corners. Learn. You have to learn. Learn. Change your attitude. And try to do things the best possible way you can. With real spiritual excitement. That is the best antidote for all the craziness that's happening in the world outside today. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.